Hi, it's Randy McDonald from Quality Tools Online. I have a project at home today that requires that I cut about a dozen screws from in front of my window well that the flooring installers somehow missed the mark, and they're all sticking down through the roof, through the floor, I should say. Um, my tool of choice, of course, is the FEIN MultiMaster, and today I'm going to be using the FEIN Starlock E-Cut blade. It's a Carbide Pro blade. It's titanium tin coated, and it is bimetal with carbide teeth. This blade is supposed to give you about 30 times more life than any traditional bimetal blades. Now, there's a big difference when you're cutting any type of nails, screws, or fasteners as to the diameter and the strength of the nail or the screws or the bolt as well. If you're using just a standard finishing nail, they're not all that strong, fairly easy to cut. It's no big deal. When you get into some of your other screws that are plated, and also into some of your decking screws, and depending on the size of the screw, it can be very difficult. A lot of people don't realize that when you're cutting these type of fasteners off, if something is plated, and typically it is then hardened, it's very difficult to cut. So it makes it a lot harder on the blade, and also you get a very poor blade life. So you really need to look at the quality of the blade that you're using. A typical finishing nail, bimetal blade is fine for that, but anything above that, or any hardened material plated, or even people try to cut off small bolts, which can be grade 2 or even grade 5, and sometimes even they're plated. And especially fasteners in window refit work. They can be very difficult to cut very hard on blades, and sometimes the situation is that you have no other way of using but using an oscillating tool and one of the blades, and the blades almost become a sacrificial blade because you can ruin them very easily. Because again, the diameter of the fasteners makes a big difference as well. Your typical bimetal blade will be good for 1 millimeter to 2 millimeter diameter. Anytime you get into any of the other fasteners, number 6, number 8, or even bigger, it's a much bigger diameter, and people don't realize how hard it is on the blade. So the blade I'm using today, as I said, is the FEIN Carbide Pro. It's a bimetal tin coated blade, titanium coated, and it's specially suited for cutting harder materials. So I'm going to mount the blade onto my FEIN MultiMaster, the Starlock system, and let the job begin. So this is the area that I was talking about, where all the screws and even some nails are hanging down through, and I need to cut them off flush. So I've got my ladder in place, I've got my safety glasses, and I've got my hearing protection, and I'm going to go make some cuts and show you how well the carbide tip blade works. So I finished all 13 cuts. The screws were definitely a little more difficult to cut than the nails, but everything was cut off flush, clean, pretty quick. Did a very nice job. If you notice in the video, I used a sawing back and forth motion on the blade. I always like to do that to try and dissipate the heat. You don't want to just plunge straight in unless you absolutely have to because of size restraints with the tool or the blades. By plunging just straight in, you can generate a lot of heat in one specific spot. And if you're using just a normal bimetal blade, the teeth will lose their temper and you're going to ruin the blade pretty quickly. But with the FEIN Carbide Pro blade, The blade worked extremely well, cut through those hard screws very, very easily. By using that sawing motion, I'm going back and forth, and I'm trying to dissipate the heat and not have the heat all dwell in one spot. And so it worked very, very fast and efficiently. So if you have any application problems or any kind of blade questions, don't hesitate to pop onto our website, qualitytoolsonline.ca. Have a look at everything that we have to offer. Also, if you have any questions, you can always call the toll-free number that's showing down here before. We'd love to be able to help you out. And again, have a look at the website and see everything that we have to offer. Thanks for your time. Randy McDonald from Quality Tools Online. See you again. Bye.